In this video, we are going to learn about web scraping. So we will be learning what is web scraping, how it works, and scrape product listing from Flipkart using Python and Selenium, and then store the data in the SQLite database. By the end of this video, you will understand how to scrape dynamic website like Flipkart and store the data for future use. So let's see what is web scraping. Web scraping is the process of automatically extracting data from websites. It is useful when you want to gather information without manually copying it, whether it's a product listing, job listing, and other dynamic content. And now let's see how web scraping works. So the first step in web scraping is sending an HTTP request from your computer to a website server. After the server receives the request, it sends back the HTTP content of the web page as a response. So this HTML contains all the information you see when you visit the web page, including text, image, and other elements. The scraping tool on your computer then reads this HTML and parse it so that you can navigate through the tags, classes, and IDs to find the specific data you want. And then you can save this data in a CSV file, JSON, or even in the database. Now let's take an overview what we are going to do in this video. We have a Python script that uses Selenium to scrape product data from Flipkart and store it in local SQLite database. So when we run the script, it opens up a browser using Chrome driver, navigates to the specific Flipkart URL and loads the web page. And then it extracts important information about product like title, price, rating, description, and image URL from the HTML content of the page. After gathering the data, it inserts that information into the database. So instead of just printing the result in the terminal, we will be storing them in a structured format which can be useful for future analysis or reporting. So now let's get started creating this script. First, we are going to install some required packages. So you need to install Selenium and WebDriver Manager, and then we import some modules and functions that we are going to use in this script. So first, we are going to import WebDriver from Selenium. This is the part of Selenium that allows us to control a browser. And then we import service that helps to manage the browser service when using Chrome driver. And then we are going to import Chrome driver manager that automatically handles downloading and setting up the Chrome driver for Selenium. So you don't need to manually install it. And then we import by. This is used to locate element on the page like by class name, tag, CSS selector, etc. And then we import SQLite 3. Now let's start by creating a function that create the database. So this line open a connection to the SQLite database, and this line creates a cursor which is used to execute SQL commands. And here this is the SQL query that creates a table called product to store product data if the table does not already exist. So we will get title, price, rating, description, and image URL of the product from Flipkart listing. So we create these columns to store the details, and then we save the changes made in the database and then close the connection, and then we define our main function that controls the web scraping process. This function takes URL in the parameter, and here this line initializes the Chrome browser using Chrome driver and WebDriver manager, ensuring the correct version is installed. Driver.get will navigate to the provided URL, and here this line finds all the element on the page by class name and returns a list. In this string, we pass the class name that you will get when you inspect on the page, and then we initialize the empty list where we store the data. So here inside the loop, we will get all the detail of the product by their class name. To get the class name, visit on the web page from where you want to scrape the data and inspect this page. Here select the element and copy the class name of this element and pass this class name here, and then we'll do the same for price, rating, and description. And then we create a dictionary in which we store these details, and then we append this dictionary to the data list. And now we need to store this data in the database. So we create a function to store the product in the database, and this function take products in the parameter where we will pass the list of data, and then we open a connection to the database, and this is the list comprehension that creates a list of tuples. Each tuple contains the value of title, price, rating, description, and image URL from the each product dictionary. And then we execute the SQL query to insert all the product data at once, and then we save the changes, and now we call the insert product function that will store these data in the database, and then we pass the list of dictionary to this function. So here we have the main execution block where we first call the create database function so that we create the database first. So this is the URL where we are going to make an request, and then we call the main scraping function to collect product data from the given URL. Now if we run the script, it automatically open the Chrome browser, make the request to the specific URL, and get the data from the web page. We can also print the data and run the script again. And here you can see we get the data printed here and all the data is stored in our SQLite database. If you found this useful, you can like the video and subscribe to get more content like this.